It's time for another episode of Cop and Drop. Today I take on the house of PENHALIGON. Let's go. Welcome back. My name is Earl and this is the Casual Collector. So, this is the second episode of Cop and Drop. If you're new to my channel, Cop and Drop is a show where I take samples of fragrances that I've been pretty interested in, sample them out, and then decide, am I going to cop it, add it to my collection, or am I going to drop it and leave it for the rest of you guys to have fun with? If that seems interesting to you, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bells for every Cop and Drop episode. So like I said, today we are exploring the house of PENHALIGON. PENHALIGON is a brand that I'm not really familiar with in regards to the fragrances. I don't or haven't ever seen them sold nowhere near me or in the areas where I normally shop if I do go into a fragrance store or any type of retail store. But what really struck my interest about PENHALIGON's is actually watching other reviews. Typically when I would watch other reviewers, they normally have a nice little backdrop of their collection, and the one fragrance or the one fragrance house that I kept seeing in the back was the fragrances with the animal heads, you know, ducks, dogs, bulls, all kind of different stuff. The presentation of those bottles really struck interest to me, and I was thinking, you know, if they put so much craftsmanship in the design of the bottle, then maybe the fragrances should be pretty good, right? Well, today we're going to check it out. So I'm checking out 3 fragrances from the house today. The first one being the IMPUDENT Cousin Matthew, the second one being the Blazing Mr. Sam, and the third one being Much Ado About the Duke. I can tell you now, I really hope these fragrances have as much character as the presentation and the names of the actual fragrances. So the first fragrance, the IMPUDENT Cousin Matthew, is described as a fresh fragrance sparkling with mandarin, mischief, and patchouli. The notes in this fragrance are patchouli, petitgrain, and mandarin. So let's check it out. Give it one good spray on the hand. And like I said in the last one, I do it on the hand because on this touch strip, you'll get an idea of the fragrance, but you know, I'm gonna spend my money on the fragrance. I actually want to get the full wearing and understanding of it, you know, on skin. Alright, so I can definitely tell you it starts off pretty fresh. Like I said, it has mandarin, petitgrain, and patchouli. The initial spray, I would say heavy on the petitgrain, which is kind of like a citrusy floral in a way. It smells good. I don't get so much of the mandarin. It has 3 notes in it. I don't know for sure that it's only 3 notes. Anytime I see like a really scaled down ingredients list or note breakdown, I'm always skeptical about that. But you know, I'm gonna go off of the words that they, you know, produced, and it only has 3 notes, so I can definitely tell you I get petitgrain, but I'm getting some type of basic main floral going across. So that might just be it. It smells pretty good though, definitely off of the initial spray. So if you guys saw the last one, you know, then I will do the initial spray. I'll leave for about 30-45 minutes, like for real. It's only gonna be a second for y'all though, and then come back with a dry down. That way I can give you a full indication on whether or not I'm gonna cop it or drop it. Off the initial spray of this, it smells pretty good, but I'm definitely gonna wait till the dry down. Alright, so now on to the second fragrance, and this one is called the Blazing Mr. Sam. So this one is described as a hot and cold spices, mangoes and cedar and patchouli, meant to turn heads. Let's give it a try. Oh, the notes in this one is cardamom, cumin, black pepper, Atlas cedar, and patchouli. Oh man, I like this one. I can tell you off the rip, this one is pepper and cardamom dominant for sure. This is definitely a masculine fragrance. The first one, which was the IMPUDENT Cousin Matthew, I think kind of leans unisex, at least from the initial spray. This one is definitely masculine though. I like this one. I believe this one has a dog head and the hue is blue. Don't quote me, but I think that's correct from what I remember. But this one is really good. This one smells like someone on the executive board. And I know we say stuff like that. I've met executives, I know people, you know, high places or whatever, and they typically wear really basic fragrances, but just for the imagination purposes, you think you want to smell this on someone a little bit more mature. Definitely suit and tie. This is a dope fragrance. I really like this one. It has an element that I can't describe yet. Maybe on the dry down I'll be able to tell you, but right now it's really good. Definitely black pepper, definitely cardamom. Not really so much of the cumin, at least not from my nose right now. But I could tell it has some woody nuances in it for sure. So let's move on to the third fragrance. All right, so I was wrong. The Blazing Mrs. Sam has the bullhead on top of the bottle as a cap. And so this third fragrance, which is Much Ado About the Duke, has the dog head on top of the cap, well, as a cap pretty much. And this one is described as a rose gin leather fragrance, most uncommon, but is sent to set society's tongues wagging. So let's check this out. That sounds pretty interesting. Good one. And this one has a peppery rose, as I said, gin, and leather. Definitely could get the leather. This smells like fresh leather, like uncured leather. I could get what he's saying. It has gin. Well, I mean, gin is a note, so whatever accord they use to make gin, I can kind of get that. And I could also get the rose. So this is probably the first one of the three that has the complete note breakdown all in the opening. I'm gonna have to wait for this one to dry down though. This one is a little skunky to me. The leather is a little skanky, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like artistic fragrances. I didn't want to be disappointed or, you know, made to feel like this was bland. So definitely not bland, but just definitely not the best off the first initial spray. Yeah, so I am gonna duck off about 35 minutes. This is gonna be like a second for you guys. When I come back, I'm gonna give you my take on the dry down of all three of these fragrances and let you know which one I'm gonna be copping, which one I'm gonna be dropping. Stay tuned. All right, so welcome back to the dry down version of Cop or Drop. So we're gonna start back off with the impudent cousin of Matthew, or the impudent cousin Matthew. So on the dry down, to me, it doesn't really change much. It stays actually pretty linear. Still petitgrain heavy. I don't really get the patchouli. And the mandarin is subtle as it was in the beginning. You know, citrus fragrances ain't not really supposed to last too long. But honestly, it's crazy because this fragrance, at least with these notes blended, is giving me heavy neroli vibes. Almost to the point to where I can honestly tell you this smells to me on a dry down like neroli woods from Banana Republic, if you are familiar with that fragrance. Not a bad thing, because I actually had that fragrance. I really enjoy that fragrance as well. You can wear that almost any season too, just depending on your setting. But yeah, that's all I get from it. I'm not really too wowed by it. Today, I may have to say I'm gonna drop it. All right, so let's move on to the Blazing Mr. Sam. Now, in this fragrance, I definitely do get the patchouli in the dry down, the cedarwood in the dry down. I still actually get some of that cardamom too. Not really picking up on the cumin so much, but the cardamom is pretty heavy. The pepper is still there fairly. It's definitely well blended now, but it's warmer. It's a warm, woody, peppery type fragrance. So kind of in the sense of Oriental. I'm not really sure. I probably should have checked a little bit deeper, but it's kind of giving me Oriental vibes, and I'm a huge Oriental fan. Probably one of my top scent profiles. So I really like this one. So I dropped it too. But the Blazing Mr. Sam, I'm gonna cop this. And finally, let's move to the last fragrance, which is Much Ado About the Duke. I can't get past the skanky leather. Now, it's an artistic fragrance, cool to have on your shelf if you can find the bottle without the actual fragrance, because all of these fragrances come in a 75 milliliter bottle for $278. I've seen them on gray markets for around $195, $200. So the discounts aren't huge or vast. So you're still gonna be paying a pretty penny for it. And if you like just being artistic and, you know, showing it off, if you get to show off your fragrances, then cool. I really like the bottles, but this fragrance is nah. Got some ass to it. I keep getting ass. I don't know why. And don't ask me why that pops in my head, but I'm not getting it. It's too artistic for me. I would never wear it. I don't know that. Not how I want to represent myself out in public, for sure. So unfortunately, Much Ado About the Duke is gonna have to be a drop. So of 3 fragrances, I'm copping one. That one is the Blazing Mr. Sam. That sits closer to my scent profile. I would love to have all of the bottles. The bottles are extremely dope. I like the artistic value of the presentation, but I'm just not feeling the other 2 fragrances. But the good thing is, Penhaligon has about, I think, 15 fragrances within this particular theme with those type of bottle designs. So there may be more that I might just have to try out to see. But as far as today, there's only one, and that winner is the Blazing Mr. Sam. All right, so that is my time. I'm glad you guys stuck it out with me. I want you guys to tell me in the comments if you tried any of these. Am I wrong about something? Should I let it dry down a couple more hours to really get the full, you know, a deeper dive in it? I don't have all day. I want to make sure and bring you guys this video. But yeah, Blazing Mr. Sam is what I'm getting. Penhaligon, great design. Some pretty artistic scent profiles too. Definitely niche, not nothing that you're gonna find in your department store. Yeah, you're just not gonna find it that way. But good overall. Yeah, so if you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, drop me a comment, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you are alerted anytime I drop a video. And until next time, be sure to smell good and smile. I'm out.